Hello everyone, my name is Meg Webb and I would also like to pay my respects to the Tasmanian Aboriginal community, the traditional owners and continuing custodians of this land. I pay my respects to their elders, past, present and emerging. I'd also like to thank the other candidates for coming along, the Community Association for organising it, but mostly for you for coming out in such great numbers to listen to us. It is exciting, you've got a big choice. If we could bundle up all the ideas and the wonderful aspirations here into a package for our state, that would be great. Now, why can't we do that? We can't do it because our political system doesn't favour us coming together with our shared aspiration for this wonderful state and putting together a collective community plan that we then decide to implement in a lovely, sensible, strategic way over the medium to long term. What a shame. It's good to have more voices, though, that might be calling for that. And I know many of us are calling for that new approach, that idea that we can future-proof our state, that we can realise the amazing potential we have as this tiny, beautiful little island, and the small population but beautiful population and the opportunities we have to make the best of what we've got. We'd love to take that forward. The upper house is a great place for independent voices who can make those arguments for a different way of doing political business in this state. All right, so let me tell you a little bit about myself. For the last 20 years or so, I've worked in the community sector, the social services sector. I started right at the front line of that, working for the Salvation Army in community aged care. It was an accident, that job. I arrived back in the state with a school-aged child and needed to fit in some work around school hours, and a friend got me the job, just like often happens in Tassie. It was transformative to my life, because in that job, for the first time in a very lucky life, I came into contact with people who experienced severe disadvantage. And that changed everything for me. And ever since then, I've worked in roles in the social services sector that were about making a difference. Whether it was frontline roles like that one, where making a difference could be giving someone a warm shower and a clean pair of clothes to put on, or whether it's what I do now, which is the research, policy and advocacy end of that sector, where I work to change government policy to make our community work better for everyone. And we face the key challenges of our state with a view that says everyone matters and we need to do better for every single part and family and community that's here. That's been the core of my work. Bread and butter issues, things like housing affordability, cost of living, access to services, a great public education system that meets the needs of all our kids. Those are the core issues that I have a passion for. At the core of my work is social justice and equity and compassion. The work I do now is for Anglicare Tasmania, managing their social action and research centre. Compassion sits at the heart of what we do. It forms the basis of why we go to work every day to try and make that difference for all the people in our community, especially those whose voices find it hard to be heard in corridors of power. So for me, running for this seat of Nelson, for a position on the Legislative Council to represent our community, is an extension of my experience, the 20 years I have in the social services sector. From the frontline experience I have seeing the reality of day-to-day life, through to the public policy, the research and advocacy and campaigning experience I have in the work I do now, all of that equips me to come to the Legislative Council with a view of the world that I think will be valuable to have represented there. And I'd like to offer that to you as an opportunity to have that view of the world. It's exciting to think of the Legislative Council as being that place of review and scrutiny, that place of independence. I think, given the disillusionment that's out there in the community at the moment about politics, politicians and the game that happens in that space, I think the Legislative Council can be a shining beacon of integrity, of good process, of community interest, not vested interest, and for all of us can be a place that we know true independence will speak up for our community. Thank you.